all going to be worth it because I've got some good stuff to show you. So yeah, Mare is not here. She's probably not going to be here the rest of the summer, so I will be jumping in and it will go more smoothly because I'll have a little bit more time to prepare. But anyway, let's get the show started. Let's get things rolling in the right direction. So tonight we're going to be talking about the 5 Microsoft Word power tips that people ask me about the most, basically, is what it is. These are the things that maybe are already built into your template, but every so often, like, you need to do it yourself and you don't really know how it happened, or, you know, whatever. Microsoft Word is, like most things, you know, it's good and it's bad. It has a lot of power if you can figure out how to make it behave, and because you can work around so many things, people don't always get the intended results. So I'm going to show you 5 things that you can do starting today in your documents to just kind of up your game a little bit. Yes, John, exactly. Let's see if this even works. I have no idea if this is going to work. Let's see. It didn't really work. See, nothing's working. Nothing is going to work tonight. That's just fine. I can deal with it. Oh, it's such fun. Actually, this one I can fix easily. Okay. We refresh. Now if I do it. See, now it's working. But now my other thing won't, but that's okay. Hopefully I won't hit that button tonight. So yes, this is how things come together. So let's just take a deep breath, start over, and dive in, okay? I will take that away, and we will run the intro, and then we can get into this in a semi-professional, but hey, it's live kind of approach. Okay, hang on. Hello and welcome. My name is Kathleen, and you are here at the BA Zone Live. Tonight we are going to talk about 5 things that, 5 tricks in power user tips for Microsoft Word. So they're the types of things that you're going to need in your requirements document on a really regular basis. You're probably finding a way to kind of get them done, but I'm going to show you efficient ways to get them done. Because there's lots of ways to do things in Word, but there's always a better way to do things. If you know the trick and if you've beaten on it long enough, you usually can figure these things out. And since I already have, why should you struggle? All right? So I hope everybody's doing well. Let's see if this is working. All right, that worked. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll just dive right in, right? Why not? You gotta bring up the right screens, though. Gonna be doing a lot of this manual tonight. Okay, so this is the first tip that I like to show everybody when they let me know that they want a little help with Word, because it can actually help you solve a lot of different problems. Back in the good old days, there used to be in WordPerfect, my favorite editor of all time, which unfortunately has gone the way of the dodo, there was this thing called reveal codes, which was great because sooner or later, if you work on a document long enough, things are going to get corrupted in the back. Because whenever you are working on a document, you're not actually working in the code, of course, right? You're working through a layer. And over time, as you add and delete and copy and paste so the people are in it, sooner or later something's going to go wrong. Back in the old days when you had reveal codes, you could very often go in and find those things. This, unfortunately, does not exist in Microsoft Word, but this is as close as we can get. And that is, there is a way that you can hide and show some of the formatting things, which will make it easier sometimes for you to track back and see where things have gone wonky. When like things were looking fine like a couple of days ago, and now all of a sudden it just looks like a mess and you don't know why. So let me bring up the other screen and we will hopefully be able to get this to jump over. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Okay. So what I'm using here is a template that I very often bring into businesses when I'm just getting started. So it's just empty, but hard to see here with I've got way too much stuff on my desktop. So, you know, you go in, like, this all looks pretty normal, right? You've got your headings and your subheads and all this kind of stuff. Nothing earth-shaking here, right? But if you go up here, you see here next, so you've got this bar here that has, like, the shortcuts for formatting. If you click on this one here, it will, come on, don't make a liar out of me now. Why is this not, I swear to you, it was working 10 minutes ago. Ah, there it goes. Okay, just took a second. I guess I hit it too many times. So it turns on all these little extra symbols. Now, a lot of people get thrown by these things. Don't let them throw you. They can be your friend. What these are the editing symbols. So they let you know what's going on here. So this, this is the end of the paragraph, this is the end of the paragraph, all this kind of stuff. So this is a really handy little thing, and it just toggles on and off if you don't hit it too many times in a row, which is why it didn't show for me a second ago. And if you hover over this, it gives you a little, help text kind of a thing on it. So if you remember I mentioned something about it, but you don't remember what it does, you can just kind of hover over it and get that little piece of extra text. And then as you're going through and you're editing the document, you'll see the extra thing. So like, for example, one thing that you'll be able to see right away is like, if you've got somebody who likes to double and triple space, and you're looking at the text, you're like, it looks kind of wrong. Well, you can see like right here that that's way too much space. You might not be sure when you look at it here. I mean, I over-exaggerated. But like here, let's just take it down to 2. Because sometimes you just hit an extra space by mistake. So if you're like, that doesn't look quite right, you can click here and you can see, you see those 2 dots? That means that there's 2 spaces. You'll be like, oh, okay, that can go away. We don't need that one. So that is tip number 1. Up in the bar, you look for the little P, and you can toggle that on and off, and it will show you your, it will hide and show your formatting in the view so that you can view it or not. Really, really handle for troubleshooting. Okay? Simple, but handy. Next up. Now, this is a super powerful thing. So, page breaks, section breaks. So, let me switch back to the document. So, there's 2, right? There's page breaks and there's section breaks. And a lot of people think they're the same thing, which they're not. So, a page break is literally that. It means that regardless of what came before it, this particular block of text is always going to start a brand new page. Section breaks can be 1 page, but it can be multiple pages. And it is a way for you to change layout inside of a document. So let's say you've got a 50-page document and 5 of those pages, your 50-page document is, portrait, but you need the 5 pages where you've got your comps or some tables or something in the middle of it to be landscape. Now, I know a lot of people go about, solving this problem by creating 2 different documents and merging them together. But there's a much simpler way to do it, and that is section breaks. So that's what we're going to look at next. Alrighty. I have to switch manually for this because I borrowed a computer because I actually don't really use Word much anymore. So I borrowed a friend's computer and I created a quick account for myself so that it wouldn't have her information, because that was a nice thing to do. All right, so let's take an example here. Let me just go up a little ways. So let's say that for whatever reason, you want your data requirements to always start on a new page. Every single time you want to be on a new page, okay? So you're go to this heading, and then you're going to go to page layout, and you're going to go to, what am I looking for? Breaks. You see that right here? And when you click here, you've got a whole bunch of different things, but the one that you're looking for is page break, which is the very first one. Okay, and then it's always going to start this on a new page, even if that means that there's space on the page before it. Because there are going to be times where that's exactly what you want. Now, just for reference, if we go back here and do the previous tip of turning that on, when you go up, you can see where that page break is. So this is really handy if you're starting to work with these kind of things, so you want to control, like if you want to make sure that you're putting something before it, or if you wanted to put something after it, you can tell the difference by turning on that little hide show, and that shows you exactly where you are, where you're placing the cursor. If you place the cursor here, everything's going to be above the page break. If you put it here or below, it's going to be after and create that new page break. Okay? Right? Pretty simple, but super powerful, super handy. The other thing I should show you is if you change your mind about it, come on, go back. There we go. If you change your mind about it, okay, so let's say you did that and you're like, I thought about it. I don't really think I'm going to need this. Let me just take out this extra text I just put in here as an example. If you don't have the paragraph hide show, if you don't have the formatting hide show turned on, it can be a little hard to figure out where you want to go to remove it. So for example, like if I went here and I'm like, no, I don't want that broken. Well, now I've just broken something else. Okay, you can avoid that by going back up here again, finding that actual page break code, and deleting it. And then it brings it all right back. So there you go. There's an extra tip. So this will be 5.5 tips. See, you hang out with me, you get extra tips. Let's see, is this one working? Yes, that's working. Okay, good. So that would be tip number 2. That is, well, yeah, that's 2.5. So that's the page break. So now let's talk about the section break. So like I said, the section break is different. So that is for the times where you want to do more than just say, you know, where the text is going to fall on the previous page or the next page. This one is about actually changing more than that, like taking a section of pages and changing more of that. So this will take a little second to walk through. If you have any questions as we do it, please don't hesitate. Let me just get us switched over. Okay, so we're back in our test document here. So again, now this is just, you know, it's basic. So let's say, not the validation requires, let's say the comps, right? So you see right now, everything is in portrait mode, right? And maybe that's not going to work out so well for you. So let me actually, you know what? Let me just switch back for a second. I'm just going to real quick, I'm going to throw a couple of images in here because that'll help you kind of visualize what I'm talking about. I actually thought I'd done this, but you know, it's been a little crazy. Do I have something that I can show real quick? Hang on. I know how I can find it. Let's do this. Just because I think it will help to make the point. I think that there's probably some generic photos on here that I don't, that it's not my system, so I want to be careful. I don't want to show you my friend's stuff. That wouldn't be nice. She did me a favor. Let's not show, like, you know, pictures from a party she doesn't want to share with the public. That wouldn't be very nice of me. Let me see. Come on, just give me a couple. I know my Word has always got some generic, like, pictures of flowers and stuff. Oh, well, here, that's good. Let's see. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. Okay, so let's do... Oh, no, stop. Here we go. Okay, so there's a picture. Yeah, one's enough, right? Okay. Help if I would be in the section I was just talking about. Found it, didn't put it where I wanted to. All right, here we go. Sorry, I should have had this set up for you. Why is nothing landing where I want it to? Because I want it to. No, that's still not where I want it. Hang on, let me switch gears. Okay, maybe I'm trying too hard to get this image in here. Is that what's happening? Try one more time. Okay, I think that worked. Yay! Success! Okay, sorry about that. Switch gears. John is laughing. I can hear John laughing. Okay, so to refresh. Actually, let me go back to this for a second. Okay, so we've talked about page breaks. Now we're going to talk about section breaks. So this page, right, is just like all the others. Like, everything is in portrait mode right now, right? But let's say that you want your comps to be in landscape mode because it gives you a little bit more room. Sometimes you're going to want to do this for tables or flowcharts or whatever. There are just times where in a portrait document you're going to need a couple pages to be landscape. So in order to do that, again, you come and you put the cursor. You can either put the cursor on your heading or a paragraph before it. You know, it's up to you, whatever works better for you. I can turn these off again if you prefer. And then again, you're going to go into page layout and you're going to go to breaks. And this time, instead of saying page break like we did last time, you're going to do a section break. Okay? And you can choose to either insert the section break and start it, on the next page, or you can have it be continuous. Let's try continuous. Let's live on the edge. Okay, so now we've got the break, and now we can go into design. Well, actually, we can do it in page layout. Sorry. And you can change the orientation from portrait to landscape. Okay, so now as we go up, you'll see that this is portrait above, right? And then when you come down here, now you're in landscape. Now the thing that always freaks people out, okay, the moment that always freaks people out is this next moment. All right, so they're looking at it, they're like, yes, that worked. Okay, now it's landscape. I can put all of my stuff in here. And they're like, but wait, I don't want the rest of this to be landscape. There's a reason for that. You have to actually use 2 section breaks if you want to put it in the middle of your document, because what it's doing is it's saying, okay, from this point forward, apply these new settings. So if you have, again, if you have the 50 pages and you want 5 in the middle to be landscape, right? You set your document up as portrait. You go to the beginning of the section that you want to be in landscape. You set the section, and then you change your settings, and then you go to the bottom and you change it back. Or if you're really smart, you put in the first section mark, right? You say, okay, break the section here. You go to where you want that to end, and you say, you enter another section break in, and then you go back to the first one and you change the layout. That's the extra power tip. But if you do it this way, I did it this way on purpose because I wanted you to see, because this is always where people freak out. So if you say, okay, well, no, at this point, let's say at this point now, you want it to go back to the layout that you had before. Oops, I'm sorry. See, manual, gotta do things manual. Okay. Let me go back. All right, so we're in the comps, and we've got the room now. We can make our image nice and big. You've got the space to the right. Okay, but then you get to maybe the next section, okay, and you're like, okay, no, I don't want this to be this way anymore. You go back here, and you say breaks. And you got to add another section break in. Okay, and then again, you can change your orientation back to portrait. Give it a second. So now, from this point forward, everything is portrait. Then you've got the landscape stuff in the middle. And then your portrait up at the top again. Okay, so I'm just going to run through that again real quick. So the basic way to do this, when you want your document to have a section in it, and it can be multiple sections, but if you want your document mainly to be portrait or mainly be landscape, go either way. Well, let's say portrait, okay, but you do have a section or 2 that you do want to be in landscape. You go to the beginning of that first section that you want to change the orientation on, and you put the cursor at the top. You do page layout, look for breaks, and select a section break. And then and then you can go and you can change the orientation, and it'll apply to everything going forward. If you really want to be a superpower user, what you do is you go to the section that you want to change the orientation on, put the section break at the beginning, put another one at the end, go back to the first one, and change the layout, and then it will only change it for that section. So you can be a power user, you can be a superpower user, depending on how you do it. But if you just do it the regular way, like if you do it the way most people do, they go in, they put in the section break, they change the orientation, then you just go down to the next point where you want it to go back to portrait, put in another section break, and then change the orientation back to portrait, and then you'll have everything you want. Oh, thanks, John. Yeah, I mean, these are the kinds of things, like it's these little details, these little nuances that can sometimes just make your life so much easier, rather than trying to fit this gigantic workflow or this gigantic image into the portrait, with the nice wide margins, which, your document looks lovely and is easy to read and people respond well to it. But then, like, you just have this section where you need a little more room, or you have a table that has just enough rows that it just keeps going off the page. These are these little kind of tips that take your document from, what everybody's doing to, hey, this person knows what they're doing, I'm impressed. And even if they're not like consciously thinking that, I can promise you they are subconsciously thinking that, because most people don't know how to do this. And like I said, most people, they do 2 documents. They do one in the portrait and they do one with the other pieces in landscape, because they don't know how to do this. So it's a power user kind of tip. And it's fun. When you know what you can do with it, it kind of opens up some creativity for you. And let's face it, when you're doing requirements documents, sometimes it gets a little bit boring sometimes, occasionally. So this is just a way to kind of up your game and make it a little bit more interesting for you. All right, so hopefully that is helpful. Let me just check I've got everybody, I think, except for Periscope coming up, so that's good. So Periscope, if you are there and you've got comments, I see that you're there, but if you have comments, questions about this, go ahead and pop them in chat. I am watching, and it should be, if I actually, let me take my, because of the way things are going tonight, let me do my backup. Okay, so now I've got it in 2 places, so you can go ahead and ask your questions, and if I miss it here, I should catch it here, so we should be all good, okay? All right, so that is the page breaks and sections. Trust me, once you start using them, you'll see all kinds of ways to use them. It's a very handy kind of tool. Okay, this is another one, table of contents. Okay, so to successfully do it, so, I have seen way too many people on, 50-page, 200-page, 1,000-page requirements documents, and oh my god, the 1,000-page ones. But I have seen people manually creating and editing their table of contents, and it's like, oh no, hon, let me show you how to do this. Okay, now the trick to this, the first trick to this is that you have to be using styles correctly to get the most benefit out of it. Okay, and the reason for that is because by using the styles correctly, that's how you're also telling Word what the structure of your document is, and from that it can build the table of contents for you. So styles could be a whole other show, and if you'd like me to do that, reach out, let me know. You can always reach us here. There's a form there, or you can reach out to us on Twitter and let me know if you would like me to go through the proper use of styles in Word, because again, it's one of these things that people think they know. Okay, just as a little tip here. So if you're going in and you're highlighting text and you're going up and you're changing your font and your size and bold or not bold through the ribbon, you're not using styles correctly, okay? And it's fine. I mean, your documents will work, right? They'll print and they'll have the style that you're expecting them to have, but you're not going to get the full benefit of some of the built-in functionality in Word. So, like I said, that's a whole show unto itself. So if you'd like me to do a show on that, just let me know. Because we're going to have several weeks together this summer, and I'm more than happy to share all of my power user tips with you. All right, but as far as the table of contents goes, if you are using styles correctly, Word can create your table of contents, and you can have Word update your table of contents. You do have to tell it to do that. It does not do it automatically, but it is really easy to do, much easier than doing it yourself. I promise you, this will save you a lot of aggravation and angst if you do it this way. So, let me go back. Okay, just want to make sure I've got everything in the right place. Okay, so we're back in our lovely test document, right? And so, you've got your title, you put your logo on there, you've got all your stuff, your version control, and then you've got all of these things here. So, generally, you're going to want to have a table of contents. Now, where you put it, whether it's after the title page or after the document, the version control, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. For our purposes, I'm going to do it here. Keep grabbing the wrong control. Okay, so I put the cursor here. And I'm sorry, I've got such a glare on this screen, I can't see what I'm doing. Yeah. There we go. All right, so let's start from the beginning here. We'll start from the home screen because that's probably where you'll be. So you put your cursor wherever it is that you're going to want to put your table of contents, right? And then you're going to go to References, and Table of Contents is right here over on the side. You click on the little down arrow because that way you can see a couple of different versions. Now there's more versions here, but for most of us, one of these is fine. So you can take the first one, the second one, third one, whatever style fits your document the best. We'll do this one. Okay, now I don't know if you saw what happened there. Oops. Now see, I've got a image marked wrong. But what it did was it went in and it looked at all of the things that I had, all the headings that I had, and it took the first 3 levels and it created my table of contents for me. Okay, so now, hey, let's go fix this. All right, so we've got 3.2 is formatted wrong. So let's, again, a little extra bonus tip. Let's go down. 3.2, right? Oop, there we go. I'll bet that was it. All right, so this needed to be this so that it doesn't do this. And I'm just going to do that also just to make sure. Okay, because this is good, because now I can show you what happens. All right, so that highlighted an issue for me, which, hey, there's a bonus, right? So I'm going to come up now that I've got the table of contents. And by the way, I didn't have to type table of contents. That was part of the format. So I can come up here and I can say update table, and you have the choice of doing just the numbers only or the entire table. Frankly, I don't know why they bother with this. I always just want to do the entire table, but unfortunately I've never found a way to make this my default. So I just say entire table, press this, it takes a second, it updates, and now that one that was a problem is still there because it wasn't the right one. Yeah, this is live. Where is 3-2? Oh, here we go. This is the one. All right, well, you know what? We'll just take that out for now. That's 3-1. Oops. This one. Yeah, I think that might have been it. Yep, okay, so let's go do it again. All right, so you go to the beginning of your table of contents. You say update table, entire table. Okay, it takes a second. You see that little flash, and boom, it fixed it for you. So now if you want to be a superpower user, you can, they took this away. You used to be able to go in and edit it. So what it's doing is it's actually pulling from the first 3 levels, which you can see in this. So the way that it's showing you this layout, it's telling you it's going to take heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3. If you look at these little, if you look closely at the examples, you'll see that's what's happening. And so that's why using styles is so important, because what it's doing is it's pulling off of these. And here, let me do this. Okay, so heading 1, right? And this is heading 2. And let's find a heading 3. So this is a heading 3. So that's the 3 levels it's taking. Now you can go in and adjust that. You can customize it if you want more, if you want less, whatever. You could actually go in and do that. Again, that's a little bit more than I want to get into in this session, but if you'd like to do an in-depth session on that, again, just reach out and let me know. I am more than happy to take you deeper dives on some of these things. But for the purposes of this one, I just wanted to show you how easy it is to just go ahead and input a new one. So I'm going to just verbally walk you through it again. So to add a table of contents, you go to wherever it is in the document you want to put it. You put your cursor there, you go to the references option up in the top menu, and then you look for the table of contents option. And I always suggest, like, when you click on these, a lot of times you'll see the little drop down, the little drop down arrow, the little triangle. You select on that because then it'll show you some options for you to choose from. I mean, you can just click on table of contents and it'll just default to whatever their default is at the moment. But I always like having the options. So you can go in and do that. And it will go ahead and generate table of contents for you as long as you are using styles correctly. If you are not, it will not work. Sorry, but that's the way it goes. And then when you want to go and change it, you go back to your table of contents, just click on it, you go to the top of it. Then you'll see an update table option. You click on the little drop down arrow and it'll say, do you want to just update the numbers or you want to update the whole thing? I always just update the whole thing. That way I don't have to worry about, you know, when was the last time I did this? Have I added any headings since then? I can't be bothered. So I always just say update the whole thing. Doesn't cost me anything extra. And then that way it just goes in and it will update the whole thing for you. And you no longer have to go in every time you change your document and update your table of contents anymore, which is just a massive win. Life is too short to do your table of contents manually. I promise you. If you are not used to using styles correctly, it is worth learning it just for this. But there's another benefit to doing it this way. So if you are doing your table of contents this way and you're letting Word generate it for you, it also turns these into hyperlinks. So you can actually do a control click to jump to that section, and so can your users, so can your readers. So again, a huge help. Maybe not so much when you're first doing your requirements, but when you're in that software development life cycle and, you know, somebody's like, hey, you know, this wasn't in the requirements or I wasn't clear about something, you can jump in, get right to that section and have the discussion with them very quickly. And we all know time is money. So that's just another benefit for this. Okay? All right, let me just double check again. Looks like we're good. All right, are you all scribbling down notes? Don't worry, you don't have to. You can go back and watch this. You just want to skip past like the first 3 minutes when it was kind of a mess. Actually, I can probably edit that out for most of you. All right, let's keep going. Character map. Okay, not sure, oops. Not sure why that's up there, but okay, whatever. Character maps. So, there are times when you need to put special characters in. Now, it is easier today because you can go to the web and you can like go to an emoji page or a characters page or the Unicode pages and get them. But I just wanted to show you that there's actually a way inside of Microsoft, inside of Windows, for you to get a character map. So let me again switch to this view. But okay. So let's just say for whatever reason, you know, maybe part of your data requirements was that you needed to show them, you know, a special character that you wanted to use. Let's say you wanted to use a diamond as an indicator for something, and you're like, I don't know how to do that from the keyboard. You don't have to. You can come down here, and you search for character map. Okay, well, to be honest, I use it a lot, so if this was my machine, I would actually pin it down here, but again, not my machine. By the way, thank you, friend, for the loader. You know who you are. So you just type CH or CHAR and then character map, and then you get this. Now, again, some people get a little freaked when they first see this. It's not a big deal, really. It's very friendly. So depending on what character you want to use, sometimes you can just use whatever font you're using. So let's see. I know a lot of people are using the defaults in Word, so select that. So you select your font, and then this is showing you all of the characters that are a part of that character map. All of that font set, sorry. So you can go through here, and sometimes you can find the character you want right in here. Let me see. Some of them have it, some of them don't. Let's see if we can find a black diamond. Right? Maybe we're designing something for a ski lodge, and we want to talk about the black diamond course. Ski courses. Yeah, okay, so this one doesn't have, this one has some very basic ones, but depending on the font you're in, they will be different ones. So like this has got some kind of cool numbers, so that could actually be pretty handy. Different mathematical symbols if you're working on that kind of a project, but it doesn't have the black diamond stuff. But that's okay, you don't have to panic, because there are these other very cool things called webdings. There's also, so there's webdings, there's wingdings, there's wingdings 2 and wingdings 3. Usually out of these 4, you can find what you want. Now, I will say the pictures are a little small, but you do get used to looking at them, and you can click to get a bigger view of them when you think, okay, is that the right one, but you want to see a little more detail. So again, let's look for a black diamond. I don't know why that popped into my head. Why am I thinking about skiing? Well, probably because it's 8,000 degrees out today. That's probably why. Here we go. We got an ear. All right, let's see. Show me a black diamond. Oh, the dove, that's kind of nice, but that's not what we're looking for. Let's see. No, not here. Okay, so we will, if I'm missing it, shout out if you're seeing it. All right, so let's try the wingdings. Here we go, black diamond time. So once you find what you're looking for, and like I said, you may have to go into a couple of different font sets to find it, but these are all defaults in Windows, so you'll be good, you'll have it. So you click on it once, verify, yep, that's what I want. You double click, and it'll be down here to copy. Or if you don't like to double click, by the way, let me just show you. So I double clicking is sort of my default. But let's say, let me just go up here for a second. Okay, so let's say you selected it. You can also come down here and say select, and that'll also pull it down here. Then you can say copy, and then you go into your document and you paste. Now, every so often, it's not going to show up the right way if you're picking a funkier font sometimes. So in that case, you just go up here and, oh, see, it carried over for me. It changed it to wingdings. But if it was still, defaulted to this, it would have come up looking a little funky. This looks like a little question mark. So if it does that, all you have to do is go and make sure that you've got the right font selected, and it'll show up appropriately for you. And as you saw, there's a whole bunch of different shapes and colors, and not colors, different shapes, characters, there's images. So this can be a very handy way to communicate to your team. Like if you want to use a special character for a bullet, or maybe, in a table, you're trying to indicate like, new items and old items. There's different ways to do these kinds of things, and we don't always have a graphic designer on hand to create, nice icons for us. This does it just as well, right? You can get a very simple, clear shape. Just make sure that it's not being used for anything else in your application. That's why it's nice to have those different font sets to look at, because you can pick something very different if you're concerned about there might be some overlap. So you pick something custom, and then you put it in here, and then they know exactly what you're talking about. Because if you say something like, even like something simple like filled circle or, black diamond or whatever, people are going to have different pictures in their head. So anytime you can actually provide the picture to them, you're going to be making everybody's life a whole lot easier, because you're taking away the ambiguity out of it. Okay, we've had this discussion before about if you have 10 people in a room and you say the color blue, you can count on at least 15 different colors floating around in people's heads, right? Some will only have one, some will have three. It's just the way it is. We're human, and that's the way our brains work. So anytime you can be specific, do so. The character map is a great way to do that. So let me show you one more time how I found that. So again, if you don't already have it pinned, actually let me close this down. Start from scratch. So you come down, you can either do it from here or you can do it from here. It doesn't really matter. You can either do the search or the window, the start. So you just come in here and you start typing character map and it'll say, oh, you want the character map. And boom, there you go. You can change your fonts up at the top here and that will get you different symbols. And I can guarantee that if you are a visual person, you will be, you'll lose a little time the first time you go in here because there's all these cool combinations. But in a world of texting, this is probably even more important than it ever was. Alrighty. Do a quick check here. We're all good. Alrighty. And as I assumed, John's laughing at me, but that's fine. I'm glad I can be entertaining sometimes too. Alright, let's keep rolling here. As usual, you know, my shows always go long. I like to share tips. I can't help myself. Okay. So... this window. Okay. Oh, good. I think this is the last one. Yes, PDF with links. Okay. So those, that was the 4 basic ones with a couple little extras thrown in because why not? They're free. So most of us prefer to share our documents via a PDF file, right? For lots of reasons. They're smaller, so it's less bandwidth that we're chewing up. We also don't have to worry about people making edits without letting us know, things like that. And you don't have to worry about people having the same exact version. Excuse me, one. You don't have to worry about what version of Word somebody might have, or if they even have Word, because, like, you know, I use Google Docs most of the time now. So you can't always count on people having, you know, Word available to them. So if you give it to PDF, it's really easy. It's, you know, flexible. They can view it on whatever device they have handy. It's just a good way to go. But a lot of people run into problems if they've got hyperlinks in the file. So let me go to where I think I embedded one here. So, like, for example, the tool that I use for comms, I do interactive comms most of the time. And so obviously if they're interactive, that's not going to work so well in a Word document. So I give them a link. So what you can do, so if you just print your document to PDF, or if you save as PDF, sometimes, and I've never been able to get a clear answer on why, but sometimes, a lot of the time, your links are not hot links. Right, so if you've typed it in HTTPS blah blah blah, they'll see it, but they can't click on it to go see it, and that's a nice little convenience for people. Also, things like the table of contents won't work sometimes. You know, as a link, you'll see the table of contents, but you'll lose the linking capability. So I've given up on using those. I have found a way that for me has been 100% successful as far as the linking goes. So let me just show you here. I have a document. My same document we've been working with, and I've got this little piece in here, right? So I just typed in our case, you know, this would normally be where I have my interactive comps, you know, for our purposes. I just put in our domain. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the print like you're used to, right? So you go File. I need to make sure that she doesn't have anything here that would be a problem. Looks like we're okay. I'll just get us to where we want to be. Well, all right. Sorry. So when you're in here, okay, so, you know, over on the side here, you've got save, you've got saved as, you've got save as PDF, you've got print, you're going to create a hard copy. Most people are using the save as PDF because it seems like the right option, but really what we're going to use is save as, okay? So I'm going to do this because it's not my machine. I want to make sure everybody's cool here. Okay, so it looks like we're all right. That's why I created a dummy account, just to try to save her privacy, but you never know. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to choose the folder. Okay, and then now here, so it's got the file name and it defaults to a Word doc, right? Because most of the time that's what people are saving as. But if you come down here and you select PDF, Okay, now you get, not only do you get your options, so, for like the author, you can add tags. If, you're dealing with a content management system that, you maybe would benefit from tags because of the way it does searching. Okay, and you just comma separate them. You've got other options you can do. Excuse me, and then you can say save. And it just takes a second. But I will say this is faster, I found, than doing the print to PDF. And now, see, I did this on the fly, so we're going to see if this works. So you should be able, and you can, you see you got the little hand. So we can jump to whatever section we want in here. And if I go back to the top, this is also a link. Okay, no, we're not gonna actually go there, but that is the whole trick to this. Like I said, I've tried the others, and while they do work, I don't have 100% success with all of the hyperlinks that are in the document, and my users learn very quickly that I include those kind of shortcuts for them, and that goes over very well because it shows that I'm respecting their time and I'm trying to make their lives easier. So if you do that, you go, I'll just walk you through it again verbally this time. So to do it, instead of doing your usual, file, come on, okay, and then doing either, save as Acrobat, or some people do print to PDF, same problem most of the time. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Same problem. A lot of times it does not maintain those links for you. This works for me every single time. Instead of doing a save as PDF or print to PDF, I do save as. Select the folder I want to go to, and then you'll get this, so where you'll have the file name field, which you're used to seeing, but there's a save as type field underneath that. If you click on that drop list and select PDF, 100% of the time for me, all of my hyperlinks are maintained in the PDF that's created. So I'm going to recommend that you do that too. All right. So why is that all off the page? Okay, that's all right. We can do it this way. So just as a reminder, these are the things we've talked about. I wonder if this is, no? All right, I guess somebody was playing. Whatever. I'm gonna just have to give up tonight. This is just not working. So what we talked about here, we'll do it this way. So what we talked about, the tips I've given you tonight are using the P up in the ribbon to turn on and off your formatting. It's really good if you're trying to position something in a particular spot, or if you're trying to troubleshoot why your layouts looked funny. It reveals most of the codes for you, so you can figure it out. We talked about page breaks and section breaks, what the differences are, how and where you would use those, how to input a table of contents into your document. If you're using your styles correctly, this can really save you a huge amount of time. The character map, which is great if you're looking for those little symbols and characters and different shapes. It's a real fast way to get it, and it's included with Windows, so you don't have to go anywhere else. And then how to create a PDF with links 100% of the time. Not some of the time with like some of the other options, but every single time. Okay, so hopefully one or more of those will be helpful to you. And you can feel free to share them with your coworkers and look like a rock star. I won't tell. That's how I learned them, right? Everything we learn from somebody else, so this is all good. So I hope you found that helpful. Like I said, if you would like to go a deep dive on, we talked about the table of contents, and there was another one. I've forgotten which one the other one was. Oh well, you'll remember more than I will right now. But if you do want to deep dive on any of those topics, the table of contents, right? With those table contents and section breaks, you can reach us at thebazone.com or on Twitter, the BA Zone, and you just let me know, and I'm more than happy to do a focused deep dive on any. Oh, it was about using styles. That's what the other one was. So it was about table of contents and styles. If you'd like a deep dive on either or both of those, let me know. Because we're going to have several weeks together over the summer, so I'm more than happy to deep dive on any of those or any other topics. If you'd like to learn more about PDF files, what have you, those are also worlds I spend a lot of time in, so I'm very happy to share. Other than that, I hope everybody has a great day, and we will talk again soon. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.